Hi, and welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect. Today, we have something very exciting for you guys. As we all know, it is the end of 2025.
Tomorrow is 2026. We thought it would be very important for us to start off the new year right. And since we have so many preheating episodes coming out as a way for y'all to get to know us and what to expect out of our podcast, we thought this would be another way for us to give back to y'all because this really will help everybody. In this preheating episode, we will be talking about manifestation. Brittany and I will be sharing stories about how manifestation has worked in our own lives. And we're also bringing on two experts to share how it can work in y'all's life, to share their experiences and how what they do can also help you. So we will be interviewing Dr. Kell and the face behind the Manifesting Tribes account. So it's going to be really great conversations, and we can't wait to see how this helps everybody. Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect podcast,
Where we interview interesting people with a story to tell.
and share what breadcrumbs they picked up along the way. I'm Danny.
And I'm Brittany.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect.
Welcome to the Breadcrumb Effect. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's dive in.
I'm just going to share a little bit about my background. And I think as we think about the breadcrumb effect, we have to look at everything holistically. The events that happen in our life, the breadcrumb effect, and oftentimes they align with either our backgrounds and our value system. So for myself, just to go into a little bit of background, raised Christian, raised Catholic, you give thanks to God, you pray for things, you pray for others. I think a lot of people can relate to this. And then I also went through a period of, questioning my faith and questioning basically everything, right? Like you go to college and you start learning about evolution and other religions, and then my worldview opens, right? And so even as it stands today, I know that there is something more than just us. There has been plenty in my life to affirm and validate that. And a whole other reason why we're doing this breadcrumb effect is because we see these signs and these things that are greater than us that happen in our life that affirm that you're heading in the right direction. Signs from God, signs from the universe. It really doesn't matter how we package it. It all happens in all of our lives if we're looking for it. And I think it goes hand in hand with manifestation.
No, I kind of have to agree with you. I am Christian, non-denominational. God is a very important role in my life. And, people talk about like manifestation is woo-woo or manifestation is not godly, but like, I don't feel that way. I think that biblically, God says, ask and it shall be given to you. That doesn't necessarily mean it's given to you in the way that you expect it to or in the timeline that you expect it to. But I think that, I remember we were talking to someone and they were talking about source. Source to me is God. Source to someone else could be something else, right? And I think that manifestation can show up and, like you said, every different way. Matter of fact, surprise, I was talking to one of my friends and she said she was listening to our podcast and she shared it with one of her friends that she randomly met in Hawaii on a trip. And her friend said, wow, this sounds like a book that I read called, are you ready for it? God's Wink.
Oh, cool.
And so it's a similar concept, right? Like a breadcrumb can be God's wink. It's one and the same. It's a sign from the universe, God, whatever you want to say, that is leading you where you're supposed to be. And so I think that manifestation, we talked about it being like woo-woo. Maybe it is a little bit woo-woo, but aren't we all a little delusional and don't we deserve to have a little delusion? Like, honestly, I feel everyone right now is saying if you're not delusional, then what are you doing?
You have to be a little delusional to sometimes have the courage to go after crazy ideas. And
Right.
what is this quote? It's like, not every great idea is crazy, but no.
Not every crazy idea is great, but every great idea is crazy.
Yes.
I didn't know
Every
this.
great idea is crazy.
It is.
And so with manifestation, basically, like you said, you ask, you shall receive, or maybe not. You have to do
The
the work.
work. And if we want to, okay, I didn't think we were going here, but if we want to talk about it biblically, God doesn't say ask and just sit back and relax and do nothing. Truly, that's not in the Bible. It actually says you ask and you have to put the work in like it's happening. And
Yeah.
then at some point you might get it, or if not, there was a reason why it didn't come because there was something better or more suited to you along the way.
And that's a good point, because sometimes what you ask for isn't always what you need.
Right.
It might be what you think you need, and you might be asking for what you need in that moment, but what about for your future self? And so for me and my experiences, what I've realized is that anything that I've ever asked for, I didn't ask big enough, because anything that I've ever manifested, actively manifested, has come true. And when I say actively manifested, a manifestation can be a fleeting thought. It could be, I can do that. And then you visualize yourself doing it. It could be actively writing it down. What would it look like for it to happen? We go through this with Dr. Kell on actively how to manifest, but when you hear from manifestation experts, they say that you have to picture yourself already having obtained it. What does that look like in a day? What does that feeling feel like? And then you actually picture yourself after you've already achieved it. And what I've found is anytime I've had a fleeting thought or I've actively manifested, it's come true, which tells me that I haven't manifested big enough.
No, that's powerful. I think it would be really important to kind of share with people like steps on manifesting because I think that we all hear about manifesting, but we don't necessarily get taught what is the right way. Now, do I think there's a wrong way or right way? No. I think there are many different ways, but I think that there are a few tried and true ways that people can take away that would be really important.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I know you and we wrote down some of our thoughts and our opinions on this.
Mhm.
We are not experts in this. We just know what's worked in our lives. And I think people can just take whatever works for them.
Yeah.
Stay open to a timeline. You can't have a timeline. It could be tomorrow. It could be a few months, a year. It could be 20 years.
Yeah.
Some of my things have taken 20 years.
Mhm. And that's okay. Yeah, I think that if we stay open to a timeline, I think it is important to set a goal, right? But manifesting and goal setting, I think, are two different things. Manifesting is about, and Dr. Kell kind of pointed out on this, your feelings. How do you feel when you achieve that goal? And then with a goal, you can set something up that is, the SMART acronym that everyone talks about. But yeah, eliminating the timeline because your timeline and what's meant for you could be two different things. Maybe you're not ready for that.
So true. And sometimes you have to go through something to get out to the other side. And then you think and you look back and you think, wow, I've either come so far or I just wasn't ready yet. Or you needed to go through something really terrible for something really great to happen.
Yeah.
Consistently show up.
Amen. We just talked about that.
I know.
You can't, if you want to be, let's just say, a New York Times bestseller. Maybe that's what you're manifesting. I don't know. You can't just say, I want to be a New York Times bestseller and sit on your butt and never write a day in your life. How is that going to work out?
You have to write every day. What time do I wake up every day? I wake up at 4:25 in the morning now.
Yeah.
Every day to get the words in, get the work in.
Yeah, you have to do the work. Yeah, we can't just sit back and wait. Sorry, I'm going to have to go a little astray. There's that meme that talks about, maybe some women who are single, right? And they're like, oh, like, I just want to find a husband that's a great guy and is amazing and takes care of me, all of this stuff. But I don't want to leave my house. And I just want him to knock on my door. But if he knocked on my door, I would turn him down. And I'm like,
I know.
I'm like, that is so true. Like,
I
that is
know.
how we are. We expect something, but then we don't put in the work to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's
people like
about
the
dating,
idea of something.
Right.
Like some people like the idea of something than the actual thing itself. But that's why it's important to kind of do the exploratory thing,
Yeah.
asking yourself questions and getting our mind and our heart aligned. with our goals.
Yeah.
So the next one is do the work. So we already talked about that. And the next one after that, look for breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
those affirmations.
Yeah. Because, you're going to get signs. If you're in alignment with what you're manifesting and what you're supposed to be doing, you will have so many signs show up. And I think Mel Robbins actually said it best when we asked her that question. She talked about, you look for something and you find it. When you look for what you want and what you're supposed to be doing, the universe will show up and share with you the signs that you're along the right path.
Yeah, you're right. She did a whole episode on this. She validated that she completely agrees with this concept. She sees it in her life. She says every day. And once you're looking for it, it will show up everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't ask for everything. It's not how the world works. Hi, Apollo. And we've talked about this where you should not, I'm not going to say can't, you can ask for selfish things, right? If you're not already working on yourself,
Yeah.
if you're not a good person already and you're not good to other people, you're not good to yourself, you're not living with gratitude, and then you go and ask for $1 million,
Yeah.
I don't think the universe is going to repay that.
This is a serious question. I'm always curious, why do people think $1 million will change their lives? Because if you look at, and again, I'm going crazy today. If you look at everyone who's ever won the lottery, what do they always say? It was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. You would think you win the lottery, it's the best thing that can ever happen to you. So there is a reason why the saying money can't buy happiness.
That's true.
Now, does money make things easier? 100%.
Sure.
Of course.
Yes.
But money is not the source of all happiness.
No.
But yeah, I think that Stassi Schroeder, all my Housewives Bravo fans, woo, she wrote a book called You Can't Have It All. And, I think she's right. I think we can have most of it, though.
I love that. You can have most of it. Be open to it. Like you said, we have to be a little bit delusional. Have an open mind.
Yeah, and you don't have to figure out the why, or the how, excuse me. The why is important. Why is important. The how, if you say I want to run a marathon, okay, you don't have to figure out the how right this second. Just take it one day at a time. You want to write a book, it doesn't have to be, you're not writing a New York Times bestseller right off the cuff. Maybe you do, but you don't write it in a day. You take it one day at a time and you visualize and I do think it's important to share a few different ways. What you have is very important, but I think if we were to break it down into exactly how to manifest in a few different steps, I would say this. Number 1, visualize what you want your life to look like in the next 5 to 10, 15, 20, whatever amount of years you want to say. Maybe 5 years is too short for the dreams that you want. Narrow it down to, maybe 10 years. Really visualize and say, what would make me feel fulfilled? What would bring me complete and utter joy? And write those things down. Write them down. I think that's important too.
You have to write them down.
So first, step number 1, visualize. Step number 2, write it down and be relatively specific on it. It's not just, I want to run a marathon. Maybe I want to run the New York City Marathon or whatever it may be.
As if it's already happened, visualize it. Think about how it feels.
And number 3, when you write it down, live your life as if it is already happening. And when you are writing it down, write it down as if it happened. So not I want to be a New York Times bestseller. I am a New York Times bestseller. I have this. I am full of peace and joy, or whatever you are manifesting. I think those would be the 3 simple steps.
Absolutely. And when you hear people that have had manifestation work in their life, or you hear from manifestation experts, these are the common threads and the common themes that come up.
Yeah.
And this is not a new concept.
Mm-mm.
These are sometimes ancient teachings. Even in my book, I've been doing a lot of research where I'm researching ancient China 4,000 plus years ago, and these concepts show up.
Mm.
Manifesting Tribes, she has posted things from Neville Goddard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm saying that right. But then, and again, in our conversation with Dr. Kell, she mentions him as well. And so I actually went and I looked at one of his videos from 1954.
Wow.
And I captured his teachings down into an easy PDF where you can write down things that you want to manifest in 4 steps. So we'll share this PDF, but
Ooh.
it's the things that we've talked about. Picture what it is that you've already achieved, something small and very specific, down to where are you located?
Mhm.
Let's say it is being on the New York Times. Picture yourself opening that opening that paper, seeing your name, and then what would that feel like? Step 2, look at it in the morning, look at it at night. Repeat these words if you need to. Have these affirmations and mantras. Like, breathe it into your life, essentially. And then, you don't want to have too many. Here's example, just 3. And it's as simple as what we're working on in our podcast, the type of life I want to have in the future, and then also around my writing. So those are things that I'm currently working on
Yeah.
with my manifestation journey.
No, that's great.
So things in the past that have worked for me, and sometimes I didn't even realize I was manifesting at the time when I was. So even at the age of, I think I was 18 or 19, working at a large coffee company, walking into the cafe and seeing the district manager sitting at a table with his laptop working, and I'm thinking, I could do that. I'm like 18 or 19, totally naive. I could be a district manager. And then fast forward, I'm 28 or 29. I can't remember how old I was when I became a district manager. It's not like I had completely set every step in motion, but it
Right.
was enough of a fleeting thought to say, I can do this,
Yeah.
truly believing in it, no matter how many roadblocks you get to, because I had plenty of roadblocks.
And you put in the work.
I put in the work. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't just handed to you. You had the thought, you acted as if that was a possibility,
Yeah.
and then it was achieved. And I think that's what's really important about manifesting. And, we all want to manifest in the new year. You have like New Year's resolutions or goals. And, there's the statistic that, what is it, January 21st or something, or 17th? I don't know the date, where it's the national day that you stopped, your goals actually go away, right? But manifesting is not just goal setting.
Yeah.
That's why they have really touched base on like vision boards. Interestingly enough, I had a vision board in 2023 going into 2024, and we had just bought our land for this house. And what's funny is I didn't want a modern farmhouse exterior, but I put a picture of it. I don't know why. I liked the picture. Put a picture of it. And while we were doing our house, I had a thought of painting it like black or dark green, but then I wanted to do white, even though Chris really liked the black idea as well. We ended up with white. The picture looks very eerily similar to what I put on my vision board in going into 2024.
Yeah, you put it out there.
I put it
and
out there,
was
and
returned.
it wasn't even like I really
Yeah.
knew about. But I saw that vision board every day because it hung on my wall in my office.
That's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
And I think it is something that goes deep into our subconscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think and sometimes it's not a vision board or writing it down. I keep saying these fleeting thoughts. And even when we lived up in Dallas and we were kind of going back and forth of having kids or not, when I got my Highlander, it was shortly after I pictured children in the back seat. When we bought our house, the house was far too big for the 2 of us, but we were both very successful in our career at the time, in our late 20s. But then I got to a point where I pictured children going up and down the stairs or making breakfast or, these things that ultimately came true.
Yeah.
But first I visualized it first.
Yeah. This is great.
So for me, in the past, I think it was in the 90s, one of the first times I ever got exposed to this concept was the book, What's the Secret? Which was very popular in the 90s. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
People from the 90s will have heard of it.
I'm not from the 90s?
I'm a little older than you. It's fine.
Not much.
Not much. But I like to go thrifting. I like thrifting books. And then I ran into this book recently, which was a children's book from What's the Secret?
Oh, The Secret. Not okay, sorry. I was like, what's The Secret? I've only heard of The Secret.
Maybe it is called The Secret, and I'm saying it wrong.
think it's just called The Secret.
I think you're right. So The Secret.
Okay, I know that one.
Okay.
I was like, oh, this is
But what is The Secret? No, you're right.
Literally.
So the book is called The
The
Secret from the 90s. That
Yeah.
was my first exposure to this concept of manifestation.
Yeah.
And then recently when I was thrifting, I didn't know they had a children's book from The Secret, which is really cool, which is about just imagining things and how important that step is. And it was really cute. So of course I had to pick that up.
I love that.
And then for me, I know that we shared, we'll have an episode coming out in one of our preheatings about the books that we have on set that mean something to both of us in this journey. And one of those is talking about Untamed in the journal. So I think this was a turning point in my life where I was going one direction in my life and mentally and everything. And this helped me get back on track and in a good place. And so what I loved about this is it talks about your current state and then what you want your future state to look like. Because I think I even wrote something in here about you.
What? This is The Secret, guys.
I know. Well, what's really cool is like it talks about easy buttons and reset buttons. And at the time, my easy buttons were wine, scrolling, coffee. Okay, I still drink coffee. Now my reset buttons, I don't drink anymore. I've stopped scrolling. I literally charge my phone in the kitchen. I don't like bringing it into the bedroom anymore. Meditating, breathing, journal, yoga. These are how I reset. And I incorporated one thing at a time in my life. It wasn't everything all at once. That can be extremely overwhelming.
Yeah, it's like habit stacking. You don't do 5 habits all at once. It's unsustainable. You do one habit and then you follow it with another after, 21 to 30 days. Or once you get to it. It doesn't have to be that amount of time. No timeline.
No timeline. Okay, they also say, think about what you're envious of because that is your tell on what you actually want for yourself. So the things that I was very vulnerable, right? And these are things that I would envy. Other people that are authors. I want to become an author. People doing podcasts. Now we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm looking for your name. I know it's in here somewhere.
You have every page dog-eared.
They're all important. This is how I read. I annotate and I dog ear.
I think I saw it.
Oh, you did?
Take your time.
Oh, and then another thing that we completely changed and manifested in our life was our move back to the Austin area. I mean, we changed everything in a matter of just a few months. Our house, our city, where I worked, we had another baby. So we could not have done that if we hadn't pictured that.
I saw it at the end. I thought, no, the end. The end.
The end of the book?
Somewhere. I'm seeing my name.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So write about someone or something that filled you up with beauty recently.
What?
I took my girls trip with Brittany. So girls trip with Brittany. We were so pretty in the pictures because we were so happy.
Oh.
Laughing, smiling, and having fun. Our ideas were in sync and we found inspiration everywhere.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry. I'm the crier. Oh, I love that.
And it's on the beautiful page.
It's not the big things that really mean the most. It is going on a girls' trip to San Antonio, laughing the whole way, finding random things that we're connecting on. It's really the simple things. It's not. And I hope that when you manifest, I mean, my hope for everyone is that you can manifest a life that is worth living. And that doesn't necessarily mean big and extravagant life. That is a simple life full of love and joy and peace. I think we're missing a lot of peace in our hearts. And I think that if we could find that, it would be a better place.
Completely. I know a lot of people choose one word for themselves for the new year. And a word that I do find myself choosing over and over, and it just might be forever my word, is the word content. I actually find it very hard to be in a place of content because I'm always thinking of what do I need to do next? What needs to happen? All these new ideas when really we just need to sit with where we're at
Yeah.
and be happy and grateful for what we have achieved thus far
Mhm.
and be content in that. And one of my favorite quotes is, I think it was actually from V.E. Schwab. She has a quote that says, life is an eternal number of presents. There's now and then now again and then now again.
Mm.
And so
Mm.
I think it's just a good reminder.
No, that's beautiful. I
Mhm.
like that. Content. Maybe that will be my word.
Content. And then the other thing I was just gonna share is I was gonna share a little bit about my dad's story. He did give me permission to share it. So I think all I'll say there is I would not be here today if it wasn't for my dad manifesting things in his life and how he ended up choosing my mom, who then I obviously was a product of that.
Really?
Okay, I'll share because it's kind of a good story. So, in the episode where you interview me, I share a little bit more about like my my story, my family background, and all of that. So you'll hear more about that in that episode. I don't go into everything, but we'll talk about a lot. But anyway, so my dad, he's always liked a lot of women, and sometimes they've been a lot of crazy women. And so before I was born, he was actually dating 2 women at once. One he was living with was my older brother and sister, and then, not their mom, somebody else.
Let's make that
He's
clear.
gonna completely regret agreeing for me to share this. And then there was my mom, who I think they met at their work at the telephone company.
Oh.
Um And he has and had read already a lot about manifesting and things have worked in his life. And he's, y- yes, he's Catholic and he's very open to these other things. They say sometimes if you're trying to make a decision, choose something random. And again, don't put a timeline on it. Something that could be almost unbelievable that would be only a sign for you. And so when he was trying to basically decide what woman he was gonna end up with,
Hang on, Dad.
he he said, "Whichever woman I'm supposed to be with, have them give me a rose." And he's like, "It's the '80s. I'm a dude. Women don't give men roses. It would be totally random for them to do that." Well, obviously, it was my mom that gave him a rose, and that's why he ended up choosing her because he was like, "This is my sign. I asked for this sign." And so he did. He asked her, like, "What made you wanna give me a rose?" And she goes, "Honestly, I have no idea. I saw it and almost heard it in my head, like, I need to give this to da 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 da." I'm not gonna say my dad's name. It's not like we're putting a book out together. Plug.
Plug the book.
Pen name for my dad.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
Anyway, so that's just one example of something in his life that he asked for specifically.
That is insane because I didn't know this story. I'm finding out about it now.
Yeah.
That's manifesting at its finest. / a breadcrumb.
And yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then here's another crazy story that I'm just gonna add. So all my life he's always done Publishers Clearinghouse,
Oh yeah.
where you like mail stuff in. And then there was one day he calls me and he's like, "I won Publishers Clearinghouse." And I was like, "You didn't. That's a scam." He's like, "No, really, they're on my lawn." I was like, "They're on your lawn?" And sure enough, he literally won Publishers Clearinghouse. This was before they went bankrupt. And they did. They did the whole come in with a big check. They flew in, balloons, got on TV, got on the news. And he was literally like, I manifested this into my life. I pictured myself with the winnings. I pictured them on my lawn. And when he would do his whatever, maybe it's online now or on an app, I don't know. He pictured himself winning. And then boom, he won. Isn't that funny?
Oh, I can't believe. I remember you telling me about that, but I didn't know that he pictured himself doing it. My stepdad likes to play, like the lottery or whatever.
Exactly.
Although I know we just talked about lottery ruining your life. I'm not trying to ruin his. Look, I'm blocking him from winning the lottery.
That is so funny. No, he used the money to travel. He did a whole US road trip with my youngest brother.
Fun.
before he graduated high school, which I thought was a great experience. Yeah, he was able to come out to Texas to visit us. It's really funny because I do have some, WT in our family. And I was like, of all the things you could win, that was like the most white trash thing you could win. Good job.
I'm like, I love it. It's so 80s.
It's
90s.
I know. I was like, they're still around?
When was this?
Literally like a couple years ago.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
I
they
thought it
just
was like
went
in the
bankrupt
90s.
or something not that long ago. My older brother was joking with him, like, I guess you have to give your earnings back. Could you imagine?
Oh gosh.
This
That would
is
be
like
hell.
reverse manifestation.
That would be ruining your life, okay?
Exactly.
So, Danny, I know you mentioned that you have something really exciting for everyone that you have put together about a playlist.
Oh, it's like I do. Yeah, so I did. I created a playlist on Spotify. It's called Manifest the Shit Out of Your Life.
Hell
And
yeah.
yeah, so this could be our kind of carb load of the day. This is when we do our random pull-ins, random thoughts and facts. And so this is my gift to y'all. This is your carb load of the week. So go listen to that playlist. We'll share it. We'll link it probably in comments on socials and stories or something there. So yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. And guys, stay tuned because we have Dr. Kell and Erna from Manifesting Tribes coming up.
Happy New Year. We cannot wait to hear what you are manifesting in your life, what has manifested in your life before, and we always love to hear about your breadcrumbs.
So guys, let's leave 2025 behind. And in 2026, remember to
find your breadcrumbs. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Talk to you soon.
We may cuss, we may offend.
Maybe don't listen to this with your kids in the car. We're here to learn and laugh, not to offend.
We are not experts, so take what resonates and professional advice where needed. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
If you've loved today's conversation, subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Continue picking up the breadcrumbs by leaving us a review and sharing.
Follow us on socials. We are at Instagram at The Breadcrumb Effect, TikTok at The Breadcrumb Effect Pod, and YouTube at The Breadcrumb Effect.
Let us know your favorite episode or what you'd like to see.
Want to be a guest or know someone with a story? Fill out our guest interest form linked in our bios.
Finally, let us know if you found the hidden loaf. Until next time, keep picking up those breadcrumbs.
They're leading you exactly where you're meant to be.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. My name is Brittany. Oh, it's the highs.
Hi.
I'm scared.
Sorry, I'm getting a text.
Start it again.
I don't even. Oh, I'm like, I don't know where my phone is. This is what we're using to record. This is awesome.
2025? What the fuck? Remember to find your bread.
Fine, we're finding.
Are we finding, right?
We're finding.
Okay.
We're not following. Okay.
Let's start over.
Nope.